Tish'a BeAb, very solemn day, national day of mourning, crying over the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash and so many other calamities that befell Am Yisrael. This is a day that has so many different types of minhagim associated with it. Many of these minhagim are related to the way we conduct ourselves on the day itself. And even though many of them are the same from community to community, so many more are different as well, as mourning customs developed differently in each community. I'd like to focus on minhagim strictly of Halab, Aleppo, Syria, and once in a while I may mention how they compare and or contrast with minhagim of other communities. But for the most part, many of these minhagim are the same. First and foremost, it's not a happy time. It's a very sad time. It's a day that we do not greet one another. It's a time that we just lower our heads, walk into Knis quietly, without saying anything to anyone. We sit on the floor from the night until at least midday. We don't even sit in our same spots. We sit in a different spot in the Knis. If we usually sit in the front, we sit in the back, we sit on the side, we sit in a different row, we sit someplace else. At night, we actually count down the years since the destruction of the second temple, the second Beit HaMikdash, which according to our Minhag, our tradition, occurred in the year 68 CE. The Torah is not taken out of the Heichal on the day of Tish'a BeAb with the same fanfare that we normally would even on a regular weekday, but it's taken out with sadness. It's taken out while saying special prayers, not really a prayer, but more of a lamentation, a dirge. We're crying when we're taking out the Sefer Torah, because even the Sefer Torah is mourning. We don't lift up the Sefer Torah to show it to the people. We just take it out quietly and place it on the Tebah. At night, we open up the prayers with the reading of Parashat Ha'azinu. In the morning, we say Ha'azinu in place of Az Yashir. At night and during the day, we say kinot. Kinot are lamentations, elegies, dirges, very, very sad things that we would normally say at a funeral. That's what we're saying. We read Megillat Echa both at night and during the day. I said we do not greet people, but it's not only do we not greet people, we don't laugh, we don't joke, we don't say how you doing, we don't gather, we don't go for strolls, we don't watch movies. We just try to focus on the events, the tragedies of the day. Instead of saying Shalom Aleichem, if you must say hello, the way to greet people is you say Tizke b'nehamat Sion, and the response is Tizke b'binyana. At night, we dim the lights in the Knis. There is a prayer called Nahem, according to the Halabi tradition. It's only said during Minha. So one Amidah, the entire year that Nahem is added, Minha of Tish'a BeAb. Other communities also only do it during Minha. Some other communities do it in Arbit and Shahrit as well as Minha. It's forbidden to study Torah. We don't study any Torah, we just read certain sad pieces. Like we said, Megillat Echa, we would read certain sad pieces from the book of Yirmiyah. We also focus on sections in the Gemara that deal with the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash and the tragedies that led up to it. We don't publicly wear tefillin on Tish'a BeAb until Minha. We don't do Birkat Kohanim during Shahrit at all, but we do it during Minha. As far as work is concerned, it's not the proper day to be working. You're supposed to be focusing on this national mourning, but if there's a great necessity to do work, you do work so you don't lose out, so you don't have a major financial loss. As far as preparing for after the fast, that is not done until after Minha as well. There is a haftarah that we eat on the morning of the fast. We don't have a haftarah on the morning of any of the other fasts, except for Kippur, of course. Kippur is a different story, and we're not comparing Tish'a BeAb to Kippur, or any Kippur is in a class by itself. But as far as haftarah is said on Tish'a BeAb morning, but in the Halabi tradition, according to Harambam, there is no haftarah during Minha, as opposed to most other Sephardic communities, which in fact do say haftarah in Minha. There are other changes in the Amidah. You would have to see the special Sidurim for Tish'a BeAb for those, especially the older Sidurim. They have more of those changes, whereas in the more modern books for Tish'a BeAb, a lot of those changes have been left out. Not only everything that we said, but this was a day that was for the entire people. There were special pieces that were translated into Judeo-Arabic, so all men, women, and children would understand what's going on. So the haftarah of the morning from Sefer Yirmiyah would be translated into Judeo-Arabic. There will be a special kinot that would be said in Judeo-Arabic as well. Is it Hanna? Is it Yirmiyah? Is it Zechariah? They even had Is it al-Zanzala? So many different things that were said to really get all of the people into the sadness and into the mode and the mood and the focus of the day. This is what the Tish'a BeAb is about. It's a day full of minhagim that cause us to think together, come together, and channel our thoughts together in the hopes and in the aspirations that this will finally be the end and we'll finally see the rebuilding of the Beit HaMikdash. Amen.